This is the 4th episode of the MMA On Tap podcast. What's on tap today, Walter?
And we have Old Chub. It's a Scotch ale by Oscar Blues Brewery. They're coming to us from Colorado.
Yes, it's Colorado. Second podcast in a row from Colorado.
Yeah, representing.
Oh my gosh, the alcohol percentage.
And I would love to take credit for picking this beer out, but I got to do a shout out to Winnie.
Shout out to Winnie.
She picked this one out. She knows what we like. That 8.0%.
Yeah, 8%. Oh my god.
Can't argue with it. So, cheers. Let's try it.
Yeah, cheers. Let's try it. Ooh, I really like it.
It's good. It apparently has a whisper of smokiness. So
I do taste it.
Do you hear the whispers? But it's pretty good.
I don't hear the whispers, but I taste it a little.
But all right, what do you think it got? Rate beer
out of 5.
It's been rated a lot too. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I do like the look of it. I mean, it's called Old Chub, but it looks
Rocky Mountains in the back.
Yeah, Rocky Mountains in the back. I like the silver, and is this green? Yeah, it's green. I like it. Personally,
another chug. What do you think?
Yeah, for me personally, out of 5, I always look at the alcohol percentage. That does play a factor.
It should factor
and it's heavy in the alcohol, and it tastes good. So
it's a Scottish ale.
Yeah, a Scotch ale. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, but then I think the ratings would be 3.8 out of 5. Yeah,
3.69.
Okay, not too far off.
It's got a little coffee taste.
Yeah, I like the coffee. What would you rate it?
I like this. I'd give it a 4.3. This is a beer I could see myself drinking. It's heavy, though.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
I could honestly see myself drinking it.
Yeah.
I don't like dark beer.
It's as cheap as Steel Reserve, but...
Yeah. That's why you can't go wrong with Steel Reserve, because it's cheap and it's...
God, we should be sponsored by
8.1%.
Just that extra...
The extra 0.1, it gets you.
Difference,
it gets you off. So, yeah, man. Old Chub, Scotch Ale. I like it.
What do you think of the name, Old Chub?
I like it. I do.
All right.
I like how it looks. What do you think?
It's interesting. Old Chub.
You got to be creative. Now,
I don't know what it means.
On top in small letters, it says it's like Sputnik. I don't know what that is, what that has to do with it, but that's got to go.
Yeah.
That's got to go. Just Old Chub Scotch Ale. But Colorado, USA. I like it.
They're doing good. They're doing good.
Today we're going to recap the fights, which were pretty good. It had its highs and lows, but for a card that didn't have as many big fighter names, I was into it. And then we just got a couple things to talk, some UFC news afterwards, and I just wanted to mention real quick on the undercard because I did watch the undercard, just some of the fights, but I liked on this card that all the finishes were in the first round. We had 7 fights that ended 7 first-round finishes, which that's all you can ask for on a card. The fastest flyweight knockout in flyweight history in the UFC by Dustin Ortiz.
Yeah,
and I was happy because I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, he wins some, he loses some, but every time Dustin Ortiz fights, it's a fun fight. And he got a Performance of the Night bonus. Hey, 15 seconds, you get paid.
Get your money. Get your money.
Yep. You get a nice $50,000 check. That's light work right there.
Yeah,
so I was happy for him. Before that, Hanayaya fought Henry Briones and got a beautiful Kimura. I love Kimuras. I mean, it's hard to get Kimuras, so when they happen, it could be terrible defense, but it means that you know your jiu-jitsu.
It's nice jiu-jitsu. You gotta love the jiu-jitsu part of the game. So
it's my favorite submission to do. If people don't know what they're doing, and you get that Kimura lock, just the grip, it feels so nice. It feels so nice. Can never, ever, ever get it against Walter. Even if I had it perfect, he's just too strong.
Well, you're messing with a blue belt. So,
And, hey, dude, I've trained before. But I've probably gone to like 20 classes. But I was really impressed by Hanayaya's Kimura, Dustin Ortiz quick knockout. But the first fight that I was really into that we made picks on, Walter convinced me to pick Sam Alvey. We're going to start off recapping Sam Alvey versus Rashad Evans. And that Walter and I, this is the first fight we watched together for this card.
Yeah.
And it basically, I think we said it on the last podcast that it could be a boring decision, and lived up to that.
I think it exceeded our
Exceeded
prediction and
our
was
prediction.
more boring than we
More boring,
forecasted.
yeah.
But Jeremy, I would like to talk about one very important thing. When we were last podcast, who did you pick to win?
Okay, I just say this.
It's a simple question.
Right, I'll say this. I'll say it.
Everyone knows.
I picked Rashad, and then I didn't officially pick. I guess I did officially pick. I said my pick's Rashad.
No.
Walter went next.
No,
he
your
picked,
official pick was Sam
No,
Allen.
no.
Okay.
No. Yeah, when I went first, and I picked Rashad, and then you picked Sam Alvey, but you had stats that convinced me.
My analysis was
your
just
analysis.
so cerebral. It was just were
when you broke it down, I saw that Sam Alvey had. You showed me that he had more tools than Rashad did. Rashad had to rely on his wrestling, but Sam Alvey's takedown defense was really good. So I was like, dang, and Rashad just hasn't looked good. I mean, his last loss, even though it was a split decision to Dan Kelly, I was like, yeah, he's lost 3 in a row. I hear you. I'm picking Sam Alvey. And then, so my official pick was Sam Alvey, but then when I was watching with Walter, as they were walking out, Rashad walked out first, and I saw that he had a new corner. And I loved his cornerman. He had Trevor Whitman, I believe. And then he had Frankie Edgar's coach, who, again, I think the first episode, I just can't remember his name.
Manhoof.
Thank you. You said Manhoof. And then, okay. Henry. I can't remember. Whatever.
Suda.
I feel like it was... I don't know. Listen to our prior episodes, and I mentioned his name. But I'll think of it. But he had a really good corner. So I was like... I looked at Walter, and I was like... Even though I'm still picking Sam Alvey for the official pick because it went on the podcast, so it's
official.
out there.
After he switched.
I switched,
all right.
Then while I saw Rashad, I was like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Rashad wins. I think that he has a good corner. He's lost 3 in a row, and I'm just looking at the old Rashad. He used to be one of the best on the planet. Like he used to headline the huge pay-per-view. So
essentially, you switched. You switched last minute, which is if you don't know Jeremy, it's a very Jeremy thing to do. It's a Jeremy thing to do
for me.
It is, and sometimes it works in your favor.
It matters on Fight Night.
Guys like Donald Cerrone, it works in your favor,
right?
But then there are times where you just overanalyze.
Mark Henry. That was the other coach. Sorry. Mark Henry. I had Mark Henry, and Mark Henry is my top 3 striking coaches in MMA. So I'm like, ooh, that's why I changed my pick. When I saw Mark Henry, I'm like, I did not know he was with Mark Henry for this camp. So I was like, I think that he's probably got some decent striking. He left his family for this camp. He's looking to get this win. So I was like, I know, and I told Walter, I said, my official pick is still Sam Alvey, but I think Rashad's going to win. So I still did get the win because Sam Alvey did win by split decision. But I as Rashad was walking out, I thought that he was going to take it. And so let's talk about the fight now.
Let's also talk about how the announcer... Who's the announcer? What was his name?
Joe Martinez.
No, the other one.
Oh, Bruce Buff.
No, the
commentator. That one was
former middleweight Brian Stan.
Yeah.
Brian Stan mentioned about 2 or 3 times.
He did mention over and over
the same facts.
What
Not
did
to
he
put
say
you
again?
on blast, dude. But
you run out of things to say.
He did.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was reading off a script, but he was like, he left his camp.
Yeah.
He left his nice home in Florida. And I'm just like, and then he said it right again when he was
said
walking
it 5 minutes later. Yeah.
And we're like, is he just saying the exact same thing? Word for word, it sounded like he was saying the same thing, which I don't know. Moving past that. Fight with Sam Alvey.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, as a fight, that was a 2.
2, yeah.
That was a 2. Could it get worse? Yeah, I think we've seen 1 worse very recently with David Maya and Tyron.
I knew it, yeah.
This might have been even more boring. I mean, significant strikes. Rashad had 17. He's averaging just over, 1.05 a minute. 1.1 a minute. That is terrible.
I actually watched this fight. Even though I knew it was boring, we were just commenting on,
It was terrible.
Has he thrown, I think in the first round, with a minute left, I'm like, Has he thrown like a strike? I mean, the highlight of the fight, to me, the only highlight was Rashad had a good takedown. I think, was it the second round? He had a really good takedown where he grabbed Sam Alvey's ankle and picked it up, kind of. And I was like, that was the best part of the fight. But Sam Alvey got right up, but still, like, Rashad...
And does that even count as a takedown? We won't get into that, but...
Yeah, but it does, but it shouldn't be scored because... Judges are told
takedowns and significant takedowns, just like strikes.
Right, but I think that's why Sam Alvey won, is because judges, they're told to look for damage. It's a fight; you have to look for damage, and Rashad just didn't do damage. So, I think they awarded it. I do think Rashad, not won, but he.
Based off of how UFC judges score it.
No, I'm saying I think Rashad pushed. Okay, he pushed the pace in quotes, but pushed the pace hold him against the cage and stuff. But he was
pushing the pace.
That's not pushing the pace. I can't think of what I'm trying to say. He was
the aggressor.
The aggressor, maybe, but he wasn't aggressive. No, you could easily score it 2 rounds to Rashad. That's why it was a split decision. But if you're looking at damage, even though Sam Alvey, he did say after the fight, he was like, that was a shitty performance. I don't know if he said that, but he just said, I was in awe because Rashad is one of my heroes.
He admitted that.
So I was in the octagon. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm fighting Rashad Evans right now. So he was a little tentative for Sam because he does like to push the pace, but at the same time, you can't push the pace too much because all Rashad's looking for in this fight is clinch and hold you against the cage, and you just can't have that. So Sam fought a smart fight, I guess. He didn't take any damage. So
yeah. Kind of an easy day for him, but I don't know. I disagree. You got to push the pace. You got to make yourself stand out. If he pushed the pace, even if he got taken down in the last 3 minutes, you're still going to get those points, in my opinion. But you never know how the judges score. It's a game of points. Good for you, Sam Alvey. Glad he won. Keep that smile going.
The smile,
Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah, but a part of me was honestly a little sad for Rashad because
it was kind of sad.
He was on top for all these years and headlining pay-per-views. And making really good money. And now he's the second fight on a Fox Sports 1 card, and nobody really cares about this fight. And he did he left as soon as the decision was announced, he left the octagon.
He knew he lost.
And I feel like even if he won that split decision, he still, I don't think, would have been happy. And
he knew he lost.
I think
that's the thing about this sport. I mean, more than any other sport, you see the greats, they decline so much quicker than any other sport.
Yeah.
He's only 37, but that's kind of old in this sport.
He's an old 37 because he's been fighting in the UFC for so long.
Yeah, he's taken damage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this the end of Rashad? Do you think?
Okay, I
don't think
I think it should be because you're fighting.
Do you think it will be, or do you think it should be? Two very different questions.
Well, as Brian Stan said twice during the show, he has a big house in Florida. So
a beautiful house in Florida.
He has bills to pay, and I don't know if he has a plan in mind, a plan B, once he retires. So, and he's lost 4 in a row. He's still a name, so I feel like the UFC will give him one more shot. But I don't. I say he hangs it up, but it all depends on his personal, what. If he has extra, if he has money, I mean...
He needs to get into that commentary. He used to do commentary. That's your new end. Do that. Abandon your training. Yeah. Dude, do the commentary. He wasn't a bad commentator.
He needs to retire, though.
He does, yeah.
He was on the desk. I mean, I never heard him do
yeah. Oh,
he was on the desk?
Yeah, on the desk.
On the desk, yeah.
But that's still good money for him. It's better than what he's making getting beat up. And
it's not better, but it's less effort. And, less. But
for time you're spending in there.
I need him
per hour, yeah.
I didn't retire. You've lost 4 in a row, and then this fight. I mean, listen.
To not elite guys.
2 fights ago, Dan Kelly, split decision. This one, Sam Alvey. So 2 split decisions, but you just, like you said, 17 significant strikes in the fight. That can't happen. And you're training with good coaches. That can't happen for an elite guy like Rashad, so it's time to hang him up, in my opinion. I just hope he does the right thing for his family and for his own sake. I mean, he's not taking damage in his fight. I mean, in his last 2 fights, he's not taking damage, but he's just not pushing. He's not. You don't see anything of the old Rashad. I mean, he looked in good shape. He did, but that doesn't matter. Once it comes to fight time, you can't.
He lost his speed. First thing to go when you age is speed.
Yep.
And that's kind of what he relies on. So
Yeah.
I know we didn't make an official pick on this on the fight after this one.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a quick
Martin
quick
Bravo,
knockout.
Bendernet, or Bendenet.
Bendenet,
I don't know how we're
Bendenet,
pronouncing your name. I'm high on this guy,
Yeah.
Huberto. I mean, dang,
I don't know either guy.
He knocked him out with that flying knee.
Yeah, it looked to me at first when it happened, I was like, I thought it was a beautiful kick.
Yeah.
I think he was actually going for a kick, but as he raised his knee up to throw it, that knee landed flush on Bravo's chin. And Bravo was hyped. He was pumped for this fight to fight in Mexico because he's Mexican, right? I believe he is.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the crowd was
Peruvian
going
one,
for, yeah.
The Peruvian performance
yes.
of the night.
He got
He's
the
22. Watch out for this kid. He could be like the next Max Holloway.
He had his Peruvian flag. I'm like, I don't know if I can name any other fighter from Peru, but hey, I'm proud of him. I mean, that is a quick finish. We were very upset after the Sam Alvey-Rashad fight, and then this 26-second knockout, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, very technical, and I mean, these are the up-and-comers. That's the thing. I mean, these events, they don't have the big names, but these could be the guys of the future.
The young guys
and they have to go for it.
Yeah.
And learn a lesson. Young guys, go for it, because, I mean, you don't have anything to lose, but you have everything to gain. So, I thought that was awesome. And
it was a great finish.
I can't wait to see who he gets next. He should get a
top 15.
He should get a 15 to
10,
12 guy.
12 to 15, yeah,
I don't know. Maybe even just give him one more.
Yeah.
Because it was very quick. But
and it was a no-name. But
talking about easy money right there.
Oh, man. I mean, can you just do in a 26-second knockout?
To put a nice pack on the knee, but man, you're doing it with a smile.
Get your win bonus and then the performance of the night bonus. I mean, it's easy work. But
that was cool.
The second fight that we made a pick on was the third to last fight, Nico Price versus Alan Jouban. I did lose this one. I thought it was a tiny bit early stoppage to an extent because I thought that Alan Jouban was still in it, except as soon as the ref pulled off Nico Price from Alan Jouban, Jouban got up and was wobbly, but he was on the ground, so I feel like if Jouban kind of rolled to his back and pulled Nico into his guard, or even if Nico got side control or something, it would have given Alan Jouban time to recover. So I thought it was a tiny bit early, but Nico Price I was impressed with, and he hasn't lost in the UFC. He's on a huge... Has he lost in general?
No.
I know he has the no contest.
10-0.
Okay, so it's 10-0 with a no
10
contest.
Wins are stopped by stoppage, too. So
Yep. 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. But, I was very impressed with him early. A minute 44 into the first round. Finished Jouban. I was just bummed. I mean, there was nothing Jouban could do. He just got caught, but... I don't know. I was a little bummed, mostly because I lost to Walter, but I am a huge Jouban fan. But it was exciting.
It was.
Quick.
And, I mean, we both called it. We said this is going to be the most exciting fight of the night. If you want to see the most exciting fight of the night, tune in because we know where they are, and this one didn't. This one didn't disappoint by any means.
I mean, they awarded
it was going to be a finish.
Yeah, they didn't award a fight of the night. They just did 4 performance of the nights, and Nico Price was on one of those 4 guys, and it was a good finish.
It was good leading up to it. It was just quick. I mean, I'm sure if it played out longer, we would have seen some exciting stuff. But Nico with a great finish. I kind of have to disagree. Didn't think it was an early stoppage. But I think because of the position Price took on Jouban, he went when he dropped him. Jouban kind of curled up.
Yep.
Nico got on top of him, but with his top more leaned towards the side of the cage. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, Jouban definitely couldn't have rolled into the center of the mat. And probably been okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of when you get pushed up against the cage where you're going to have problems. So if he did roll out there, who knows? Maybe he could have survived, but I don't know if it would have. It would have been hard to get back in that second and third. But
I wasn't mad. I didn't complain about the stoppage, but I would have liked to see it go just maybe like a few seconds longer. But I feel like Nico would have gotten the win.
Yeah,
so.
And anymore with all the brain issues. I mean, the obvious issues with this sport, the CTE issues, the Ian McCall stuff that just came out.
Yeah.
Early stoppages, no one should ever complain about that.
Unless it's a championship fight. I feel like they should.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
But you're right. That's a good point.
You can't complain about it. You know you have to show you're defending yourself. If you're curled up, that's the epitome of giving up. Curling up right there. And it's not his fault, but you got dropped. And then and if you didn't get dropped, legitimately, you wouldn't have curled up like that. And he curled up and was just taking shots like, I don't know. You know that as a fighter, if you curl up, the judge is going to be inclined to stop it. I think it was a good stoppage. Don't make him take more damage than he should have. But like you said, you never know. And sometimes and I'm only hesitant to say that because there are times where we've seen some of the best fights where fighters come back from
Frankie
that.
after Gray Maynard.
I don't know if he ever curled up, but at the same time...
dropped and just confused on the ground.
Yeah, where you'll see fighters actually come back from it. But for fighter safety and just everything like that, I think it's better to have the early stoppages in general. But I thought Nico Price would have won it either way.
Me too.
That's kind of why I picked it.
So you got that one.
Still got a bright future.
He's old. Yeah, he's old. He just... I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's next for him, but I'm thinking for Nico Price, he's still not in the top 15, but I'm looking at the rankings, and I think he shouldn't be ranked, but he should get a guy ranked 11th through 15th. And when I look at the rankings, Tarek Saffiedine is ranked 15th. I would like to see that fight. Another one is Dong-Yum Kim is 12, and then Gunnar Nelson at 11. Even though Gunnar's coming off a loss, I don't take it as a loss because he got literally both fingers poked in the eye at the same time and just pushed forward still. So the reason I want to see the Gunnar Nelson fight is to see if it goes to the ground what Nico Price's ground game is. Because so far, we saw him go to the ground against Brandon Thatch, but that's like a white belt. You're going down against. So I want to see him go down against go against a decent guy on the ground like Gunnar Nelson. So I think he should fight the 11th ranked Gunnar Nelson next, or Tarek Saffiedine, who's a stand-up guy who's ranked 15th. Either of those work for me.
I like Tarek.
Yeah,
that'd be good. I want to see the stand-up, then give him a guy. I mean, as we know, you got to be well-rounded to be a champ. So
Tarek Saffiedine is solid because then he can get into the top 15 after that win. So
top 15 is a different level, so
it is. So, but he's right up there. He's top 20 right now. Yeah. So, just one win in the top 15. Tarek Saffiedine is a very winnable fight. So, I don't know. Just look out for Nico Price in the welterweight division. Yeah. So, and then Joban. We'll see what's next. Probably just get. It's all good. It's all good. It happens.
You didn't stick with modeling, but sorry, you're a beast, but
still good. So the co-main event, the catchweight bout, because it was 119 pounds, because Alexa Grasso defeated Randa Marcos by split decision. This was the third straight split decision. It was, in a row on the pay-per-view.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you think her being Mexican and it being in Mexico sways the judges by chance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it did. I think people know that.
Yeah.
If you're the hometown favorite,
the crowd's cheering every time you land.
Going into it, and whether the judges are biased in that sense, as they want the hometown person to win or not, it has an effect on the judges because every time that person lands, the crowd cheers and they're like, "Oh man, that must have been a strong hit," and that has to
play a factor
subconsciously. Plays a factor into it. They got to be like, wow, well, this person sounds like they were winning, so they take all their senses into fact, what they see, what they hear, and the crowd was definitely behind Grasso, but in my opinion, she won. It shouldn't have been a split decision to me.
I think it should have, because the first round, Randa was... No. I would have given... I said split decision, but I would have given it to Grasso rewatching it, because I did think that Randa... did well at the beginning of the first round, but then Grasso turned it up at the end of the first round. So I did give Grasso the first round, but it could have gone to Randa. And then the second and third, I'm trying to remember actually, but I know Randa won either the second or the third. I can't remember.
She won the second.
The second.
She won the second.
And then the third. They were all close rounds. But I do feel Alexa did win. I don't like losing to Walter. And he had won the Nico Price fight right before, and then he won this one. But it was a decent fight. We knew that it was going to go 3 rounds. So
if Randa had 45 significant strikes, how many do you think Alexa Grasso had?
She had more, but probably
How many
like...
more? What would your guess be?
I'd say she had like 70.
64.
Yeah, I was going to say 67.
Wow. I would have guessed she would have been in the 50s, but
no, she
it was close, but
she landed more every round. But Randa, that doesn't matter. You can't look at stats at the end of the day.
But she did in the first and third. So.
Significant strikes at the end of the day doesn't tell the whole story. The fight, it's a good guide to look, but it was a fair split decision. I would have given it to Grasso too in her hometown.
Yeah.
Just upset that she missed weight. I can't root for someone who misses weight.
Yep. I totally
by
agree.
4 pounds or 3 pounds technically.
I totally. But that means even more when you're that light. That means even more. So, yeah, I kind of cheering for the underdog, the girl who actually was professional and made weight. Absolutely, Reina Marcos. I like her. She's a fighter to watch.
She's fun.
But I mean, Alexa Grasso won the fight.
Yeah. So now let's get on to the main event, which. Sergio Pettis versus Brandon Moreno, and I was down. We tied with Sam Alvey. We both got that win. Walter's up now two wins because he got Price and Grasso right. So I was like, I need Pettis to do something, and we weren't together for this fight, so I'm watching it on my TV, and Moreno definitely won the first round heavily, and so I was very worried.
Brian Stan was saying an 8-10 round.
It could have been, but
it could have been. I would have given it 9-10. Didn't really do damage, but...
He did some damage, but he definitely was putting the pace on for the whole... I mean, Pettis didn't do much, so I was like, oh, Walter's going to get 3 wins
It's hard to do a lot when someone's got a body triangle and they're in front of you. It's
hard to get out of.
That's the hardest position to get out of in MMA. It's so hard, and you have to be so careful. He played it exactly right. When you're in that position, you give up the round. You just don't. You have
to give up. You don't take risks because Moreno has really good submissions. You can't. Yeah. You just defend.
You give up the round, and you learn from it. All right, I'm not giving him my back again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And guess what? Good corner advice, or he knew it. Yep. And I had Pettis winning the rest of the rounds, and just good pace. And He's turning into his own. He's won 4 in a row now, all decisions. But you know what? Experience is huge in the octagon. If you get a first round finish, you're like, everything's good right now. I'm good. But now you're getting decisions. You're learning. You were down the first round. You came back, and I'm a little high on Sergio, top five flyweight. We'll get into what's next, but I was happy that it. I mean, personally, I wasn't happy it went 5 rounds because. Lots of decisions on the main card, and it went 5 rounds.
A top 5 guy before I'm getting high on him. He's
he does.
He's a decision king.
He's the decision king at flyweight. But flyweight,
all his wins are decision.
Flyweight, it's harder to finish, but also
that's fair.
He did get
Demetrius
booed.
Does it?
Yeah, I know, but
that's not fair to compare him to an all-time great. Though, so.
But it was more of Brandon Moreno. He's in his hometown, and Sergio was getting booed the whole time. You know, because he wasn't the hometown guy. He was fighting the hometown guy. But he, didn't. The pressure didn't bother him, and he stepped up. And that was a good pick of mine. I'm very happy I did.
As soon as you left, I have to admit, I pulled a Jeremy.
Did you really?
I saw the second round. I'm like, I'm not watching this anymore.
You stopped.
I watched the rest of it. It was in the background.
Same here.
And I just, I was doing something else. I'm like, I would turn occasionally. It became very clear to me that Moreno's stand-up is trash. It's trash.
Is it really?
It's trash. He is so bad. Like, dude, someone who takes an 8-week boxing course might be able to strike with this guy. Like, Moreno's stand-up was so bad. And it was very clear all he had was his jiu-jitsu. And Brian Stan even commented, he doesn't have wrestling. So he's not able to take you down. He's not going to be able to take down the elite guys.
So what does he have?
You don't, jiu-jitsu.
Oh, just jiu-jitsu?
So if by some miracle you end up on the ground with him, he'll probably get that round. But if you have wrestling and you can stop that, and you can keep it on the feet, this kid has nothing. He was praying for overhand rights, and they were telegraphed from a mile away, and they didn't seem like they had much speed on them at all. I'm like, wow, I didn't know your stand-up was so bad, and which is weird because I think he's had a TKO or a knockout recently. Might have been on The Ultimate Fighter, but won't talk garbage about those guys. But.
No, it wasn't on The Ultimate Fighter. He lost his only fight on The Ultimate Fighter, but no knockouts.
I was just like, wow.
Knockouts for him. He's actually only had one knockout, and it was outside of the UFC.
So when he has to fight these top caliber guys, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, bud. You're not going to be able to take them down, and you're not going to be able to strike with them. Jiu-Jitsu's not going to get you.
It's a good learning experience. You never know.
You need to hit the textbooks.
They're both young, though, right? Isn't he young?
Yeah, they both are.
He's super young.
23.
Yeah, 23. Yeah, he's 23. Yeah. So, it's just learning from here. Move on.
It is, but they also say, in my opinion, the hardest thing to learn is striking. Striking comes naturally, or kind of doesn't. You can learn jiu-jitsu. You can learn to kind of defend yourself, but the striking, that just doesn't come naturally. You kind of have to learn that from the get-go. But
I wanted to go because I wanted to talk about. Go back to the last fight with Randa Marcos and Alexa Grasso because I wanted to say what's next for him. And I have a couple ideas. I want to see Randa Marcos fight Joanne Calderwood because she's lost 2 in a row and she is ranked higher than Randa Marcos. So I feel like Randa Marcos, she's lost 1 in a row, just beat Carla. I feel like that's a good fight just to see. And I want to see Randa kind of get higher up. And I think that she beats JoJo, to be honest, Joanne Calderwood. So that's the fight that I want her to fight next. I don't know if you have...
Man, I like that fight. That's actually a really good prediction. Yeah. I feel like Joanne's more of a flyweight than a strawweight, and I feel like Randa Marcos is a legitimate strawweight, but that'd be a good fight. Joanne needs to get her ground game going. Yeah. She needs to do something, because if she doesn't, her career is probably not going to amount to too much. Yeah. Which hurts me to say because I am a JoJo fan.
We're huge Calderwood fans. But Alexa Grasso, the fight that I was looking at, because right now Grasso, she wasn't ranked before. Now she's ranked 13th after the fight. I want to see her fight Felice Herring. She doesn't have a fight. Grasso's ranked 13th. Felice is 9th. That's the matchup I want to see next. They're both coming off wins. And I think that's a good test. It's not too heavy, but it's a good test for Grasso to move up in the rankings because they want to promote Grasso. So, I don't know. That's kind of my pick. I forgot to mention that before, so.
I agree with that. So.
Yeah. But then back to the main event. I want Pettis.
Who's next for Pettis?
That's the thing. I'm looking at the rankings, and Pettis is ranked. He just went up 2 spots. He's now ranked 4th, and he's tied for 4th with Wilson Hayes. But in number 3 is Ray Borg, who's fighting Demetrius next. Henry Cejudo has a fight booked, who's ranked 2nd. So I'm either looking at him. I'm looking at Sergio fighting either Joseph Benavidez, who's ranked 1st, or who's ranked 1, or it looks like the UFC kind of wants to do the winner of Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg fight Pettis. I don't think Pettis should do that yet. I think he should take one more fight, even though I think he would lose to Benavidez. I want to see him fight Benavidez, the number 1 ranked guy, and see what happens. And then if he wins, definitely he gets the title shot. But there's no way he's beating Demetrius. So, and I have Demetrius against Ray Borg, so I don't know.
I agree with both of those things. I don't know if he should have Benavidez. You're trying to build up a guy who's only won by decision. These guys are another level. Once you crack top 5, that's another level. So I would say Wilson Hayes at best, but maybe give him another lower level guy. See if he can get a finish.
No, he won't. He won't.
But he won't. Then how's he ever going to be able to compete with these top level guys?
But why have him go against a lower ranked guy and risk giving up his spot? Just go for the top.
How are they going to promote him? Oh, this dude's
Anthony Pettis' brother. That's the only way.
Well, you can't let.
It's the only way.
Swim in his wake his whole career.
I know, but this is his chance to. What if he beat Demetrius Johnson? Then he's good.
Then he's really good. Yeah, but he's not. So,
but he's young. So
he's not. You couldn't finish Moreno. Demetrius Johnson would have destroyed Moreno. He would have destroyed him.
Yeah, but Demetrius is
he would have destroyed
pound for pound top.
Yeah. And so would have Bermudez. Henry Cejudo probably would have crushed him. Like
Benavidez, you mean?
No, Cejudo and Benavidez.
I said
yeah,
Bermudez.
Both. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
don't know.
I would rather see him fight Benavidez.
Give him another top-level guy. Tell him, hey, you need to get a finish, because he's never had a finish.
Never in the UFC.
And a finish means you are better than that guy. Decisions means, I don't know, we haven't, not necessarily. I mean, if you have...
Not necessarily. I disagree with that.
Yeah, but decision to me is, if you're on the streets, I mean, you didn't finish him. You two had unfinished business. You never know what can happen in the next round. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'd say a lower level guy, but I can see where you're coming from a marketing standpoint. Push him, but if he falls when he gets higher competition, that might be more risky. So.
And then I was looking at the rankings for Brandon Moreno, and I don't know. He's ranked 7th, and Tim Elliott is also coming off a quick submission loss to Ben Nguyen, or however you say his last name. So, and Tim Elliott is my favorite flyweight behind Demetrius. I mean, Demetrius is one of my favorite fighters, but Tim Elliott is my second favorite flyweight. So, I want to see him fight Tim Elliott next because I think it'd be a good fight for him. Tim Elliott's well-rounded, so it'll be good. And Brandon Moreno's ranked 7th. Yeah, you're fighting a guy that's ranked 9th, but I think that's a great fight, and that's what I want to see. See who he fights next. I think it should be Tim Elliott. What are you thinking? They like to match up like people that are coming off losses
Give him
together.
Dustin Ortiz.
But Dustin is coming off a win. I think Dustin should take someone out.
Man.
Dustin should step. Dustin, yeah, I don't know.
Push Dustin. I like to see push Dustin. I like to see guy. I know they like to match up losses, which kind of makes sense. But
yeah.
Put those two together, or I don't know. You don't want to crush Moreno though, but I'd like to see that Ortiz.
I don't mind that.
I'm not a good matchmaker, though, and I'll admit that. I'll admit that. Jeremy's better at that. Not at picks, which we've seen from the record.
Not the picks. Which is kind of leads us into what's next. Now that we've breaking down all the fights, 2 episodes ago, I was ahead, and then last fight after the last pay-per-view, Walter got a couple wins, and then it was tied, and then after these fights...
Let's just say the record.
I know I'm going to.
Cut the fluff.
Walter went 3-1 out of the 4 fights we picked, and I went 2-2. So I now have 30 wins, 21 losses, and 1 no contest. Walter has 31 wins. And I messed up the ring. I messed it up. 31 wins, 20 losses, and 1 no contest. So Walter's up by 1. I'll come back. But I'm going to try.
That's what DC said.
I'm only down by 1 win right now for the whole year.
Yeah.
And you were up earlier in the year, and so I enjoyed my...
Just to the fans, I'm turning my game up, I don't know. This is a new era, and I don't know, I'm taking over. I feel like I'm taking over.
Let's move on to some UFC news for the week. A big one this week was Chris Cyborg calls out Holly Holm, which he has been, but Chris Cyborg wants to fight Holly Holm at UFC 219. She mentioned this week that Holly Holm's camp has turned the fight down 3 times. So she said, I want it at 219 because then they can't have excuses because it's far in advance. She has plenty of time to train. And I think it's fair. I think, what else is next for Chris Cyborg? It has to be Holly Holm. And Holly Holm, she has to go up to featherweight. She needs something to get back. I mean, her big win over Ronda Rousey was huge. Since then, haven't been super impressed. She just beat Betch Correia. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. You beat Betch. Not hard. I think that Chris Cyborg needs to defend her belt next against Holly Holm, and that's a big fight for fight fans. That's huge.
Big fight. I think we both talked about this. Yeah. It seemed pretty obvious to both of us that it needed to be Holly Holm. 2 strikers, and you need to boost Holly Holm. She's been on a downward spiral, which is kind of dangerous because she was supposed to,
Coming off a win.
Betch Correia again.
I know. Knockout,
not
though.
Great,
Knockout.
And she lost the featherweight title to...
Bantamweight.
Didn't she fight for a featherweight title?
Holly Holm? Oh, shit, you're right. Yeah.
Jermaine Durant.
I had her. I thought she won that fight.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It matters what the judges think, and at the same time, it's like, you should have knocked that girl out. If you were elite.
No, but Jermaine's a legit stand-up fighter.
She's legit, yeah. She's a good kickboxer.
I don't think Cyborg could finish her. I know, that's ballsy to say.
Well, let's put money on that. I hope they fight one day, because Jermaine's
Well, they should have, but Jermaine's scared of Cyborg.
Yeah, so you're still confident in that?
Yes.
So all I'm saying is this seemed like the natural pick to make. You need a stand-up against a stand-up. Let's make it happen.
Early pick, non-official. Who would you take in that fight? And do you think
Cyborg?
Do you think she could finish Holly Holm?
Yes, I think she could. But I think Holly Holm could grind out a win if she can last the first and second, and maybe it has to be decision for.
Yep.
I'd give her a 10% chance at a TKO, maybe, but really, no. Yeah, no. I don't.
My pick's super easy because Cyborg has really, really good ground game, and Holly Holm does not. So Cyborg takes her down or whatever, and pounds her out or submits. I actually got Cyborg by submission. Early pick, and that's actually
I have Cyborg by TKO,
easy.
But
it could be TKO on the ground, but I feel like Cyborg finishes her on the ground because
the only thing Holly Holm has is
length and good. I mean, kickboxing, she was 32-3 or just something close to that. But really good kickboxing with Cyborg is stronger. She's way more well-rounded, and her ground game is amazing. And Holly Holmes is not that great. So
yeah.
I think Cyborg wins that fight actually pretty easily because Holly Holm is a defensive fighter. Even though Cyborg pushes the pace, it's a rumor, but that's what's next. I mean, Holly Holm wants a belt. So and she could be a two weight division champ, which is huge.
Yeah,
if she wins. But I mean,
I don't think she beats Amanda Nunes, but that's
no.
She
already has. She won the bantamweight belt, so she already won it. So Holly Holm won the bantamweight belt.
Oh, okay,
so I'm saying gotcha. Not at the same time, but she already won it. The second thing I wanted to talk about was one of our last podcasts we were mentioning John Jones. His next fight should be Brock Lesnar, but John Jones said that this week that Brock Lesnar is going to be out for a while, which he is. So he doesn't really. He said, "I'm just kind of waiting for the UFC to see what they have." And there's no other choice besides doing
Brock Lesnar.
No, doing John Jones versus Gustafsson while Brock Lesnar is still on the sidelines.
You don't think they could do a Brock Lesnar before Gustafsson?
No, because Brock Lesnar's out. You saw it. He can't fight for a few months.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to wait,
His stint with Mark Hunt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. I mean, we've seen champions hold out, though. Michael Bisping. These champs are allowed to hold out for money fights.
But but John Jones is like, I'm cool with fighting another. He wants to, it seems like. Because he was out for so long.
I saw that, and I would love to
fight again, yeah.
I mean, his hardest fight, who was it?
Gustafsson.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that.
Drinking the whole weekend before, and it was close. But
and how much more in shape does he look now than when he fought Gustafsson the first time? He was a skinny little kid who just was an athletic freak.
It was kind of crazy because they were saying John Jones, his body's so shredded. He must be on something because, he tested positive. And they're like, he must be on something. And then he got tested so much for this fight and looked even more shredded. And then all those people that before were like, he must be on something, they were never on anything. Or, I'm sorry, the people that said, he must be on something, definitely wasn't on something because they went quiet.
Seriously,
they went quiet. Yeah.
That's a good point. So,
but
what your prediction for that fight, if it happens?
Jones by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Gustafsson. If it does, it'll be on the ground, kind of like he finished DC. But you're not going to submit him, submit Gustafsson. You're not going to knock him out. I don't think it could be like a ground and pound finish, but I don't know.
I think Jones by TKO, 4th round.
Really?
I think Gustafsson can but I really like Gustafsson, so I hate betting against him, but I don't know. I just think Jones, when he's focused, and it depends how focused he is for this camp, when he's focused, there's not too much you can do. And the only thing that Gustafsson brings is a little bit of length. He still has a reach disadvantage, but his legs a little bit bigger. He's coming down at equal striking heights, at least, with John Jones. Man, that's a hard one to decipher. But if Jones is smart, which his camp is one of the known to be the smartest camp,
they break down.
He'll take
fights,
him down.
Yeah.
He'll take him down.
But Gustafsson took down Jones twice, and
He did. But if
amazing.
Jones wanted to take him down,
yeah.
he would take him down and impose his will. I think Gustafsson's good enough to last. And I agree with you. I think it's most likely would be a decision, but it'd be a good decision.
Yeah.
That's the fight. That's the most entertaining fight.
It is. It's
the most entertaining fight. Do I want to see Brock Lesnar or John Jones?
But it'll come. It'll come.
Of course. That'll be entertaining as a spectacle like Conor McGregor, Mayweather, but I think it'll be good. So.
Okay. Yeah, I do want him to fight Gustafsson, but then today, Stipe actually, because John Jones said, Stipe, he's not like a superstar. Like, it does nothing for me to fight him. But I don't know, Stipe was saying something today. That,
I heard he was talking about it. I heard
he
Mir was talking about how John Jones could beat anybody in heavyweight, but the champion Stipe, and which is interesting. And I kind of said the same thing. I'm like, the one thing we've never seen Jones take is a power punch. Just a guy who is a power puncher, and when you're in the heavyweight division, it's a different ballgame.
I mean, DC knocked Jones's mouthpiece out, and Jones after the fight was.
I don't hold too much water. All right,
I know, but Jones after the fight was like, my jaw hurts right now from DC punching.
Anybody, when a light heaveight's punching you, your jaw's gonna hurt. Right. That's not,
But I like
mouthpiece come out all the time. But yeah, and no one's DC's got
huge.
A powerful punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
and DC used to be a heavyweight, undefeated at heavyweight
undefeated
too.
At
so
heavyweight.
He's got heavyweight power. So, Miocic, 6'4", they're the same height, similar lengths. John Jones probably has a little bit of length on him. But
honestly, smart MMA analysts are like, I don't want to see John Jones fight Stipe because I'm picking Stipe, which I think is crazy.
You not want that?
I think it's crazy picking
want that
Stipe.
Because that's awesome.
Yeah, no. But
John Jones should be the favorite. Stipe.
No, they're saying I think Stipe will be the favorite.
Well, take them. I will take Jones and make my money.
Yeah.
No, to me, honestly, it is a 55-45. Stipe 45, John Jones 55. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, I think Stipe is a top 5 pound for pound. I think the dude is a savage.
Because it's hard to defend the belt at
He's out of Cleveland, dude.
I mean, John Jones's big thing was that Stipe's not relevant, and
he wants the money fight.
He wants the money fight, but Stipe responded and said, "I'm the baddest man on the planet for a reason. John Jones can think what he wants, whatever. Listen, at the end of the day, I am relevant." So he's trying. I'm sure Stipe would love a fight with John Jones. Huge payday.
I'm sure he'd love a fight
and he thinks he can beat him. He's the baddest man on the planet. You're a heavyweight champ. You're the baddest man on the planet.
He should vie for a fight with Brock Lesnar.
Who?
Stipe.
Yeah, I mean, they're both out. And Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
If Brock Lesnar, even if he comes off a loss against John Jones, he can still fight for the belt.
Yeah, he's got a bigger payday with Jones. Yeah. I mean, it makes more sense.
But he's still out for a few months.
That's the biggest. All right, that makes sense.
So even though, I would like to see John Jones go up to heavyweight, he should not fight Stipe right away because that is a dangerous fight. I think you should fight Gustafsson, defend your belt against Gustafsson, go up, fight Brock Lesnar. You'll definitely beat him. And even if you, let's say, never mind.
But if plays in his favor too, time. Because Stipe's older than him.
Yeah, but heavyweights, the older, the better, because you still have the power the older.
It's not older, the better, but they definitely last longer. I get what you're saying. They definitely last longer because the speed of it. He's still going to have his power.
Heavyweight champs are usually in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the last thing to go is power. I mean, you can still be strong and old, but you're not necessarily fast. So, I
was shocked when people were taking Stipe against John Jones, confidently. I was like, oh, man, you're not respecting John Jones.
Every time. Yeah. You don't think... but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Hope it's Gustafsson.
I hope it's Gustafsson, too.
Just because I like Gustafsson.
I think it will be.
He deserves a rematch.
I think it will be by the end of the year, maybe January.
December. Give it to us in December.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Gustafsson is ready. He's calling out John Jones. John Jones isn't opposed to it. He knows the Brock Lesnar fight's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So we'll why not take one fight, make good money? He makes really good money, and this pay-per-view did way better. It's estimated at 850,000 buys.
It's pretty good.
If they got 500,000, UFC would have been happy with that. They got 850,000. So John Jones is a superstar. So he's back.
It's obvious.
It's good to have John Jones back. It's a good thing.
It's nice. It's nice.
been too long
as a fan and as
he's
a UFC.
Number one pound for pound of all time. There's no close second. He's the best of all time. If you look at his record, there's no even close second. So we were hyping Demetrius Johnson as number one pound for pound, but now that Jones is back, there's
historically, I mean, Demetrius is my number 2 pound for pound.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's been more dominant than John Jones and Demetrius.
Yeah, those two.
And then
and
Anderson
DC.
Silva's 3.
Anderson Silva, and then DC.
You can't take out DC, and that's,
But I wouldn't put it, I don't know.
It's a
I'd have
debate
to
for
look
another
into
time,
it. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's all we have for this week. Next week, we're going to be going heavy on the...
It's that time.
It's the time, finally. Mayweather-McGregor, we're going to be breaking it down, doing... Everything related to it. I mean, we can have a whole...
stuff.
We want to get into it, but I mean, we can talk about this all... I mean, Paulie Malignaggi...
We'll have
huge
a whole
things.
podcast
We'll have a
on
whole
it,
podcast on it as the weeks go by, because there's not much... There isn't any UFC for the rest... Is it the rest of the month?
It's the rest of the month.
The rest of the month, no
outside
UFC,
of Contender Series, but then start of September, we've got a great 215. That card is stacked, too.
Yeah, it's good.
So
it's good.
We'll hit hard back in the UFC in September, but...
Yeah, but we're going to go heavy on the... Because we wanted to wait till it got a little bit closer to the fight to break it down, but, I mean, there's so much to talk about, and we'll save that for... Yeah. So we're going to save that for the next podcast for sure, and probably just have all Mayweather-McGregor talk. I can't wait because I'm so excited for the fight, and I have very good opinions about it. So, so this has been episode 4 of the MMA On Tap podcast. It was brought to you by
Old Chug.
8.0%.
Oscar Blues Brewery.
From Colorado.
Appreciate it. Delicious. It's up to a 4.4 for me, honestly.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Good choice, Winnie.
Thanks, Win.
It was a great choice. So, we'll be back probably next week with episode 5.
Peace.
Did you hear? Everyone's talking about it.
If we don't watch it together, I'm definitely going to watch it. So
yeah, no, it's not a big deal.
Oh, great. I pressed record again for some reason, so we've been recording this conversation.